Hey everybody, how are you doing today? I'm Gregory, this is 1 in 20 D&D, and welcome to DnDaily number 46. I'm actually sitting out in the backyard to introduce this video. I've got this old sailboat hull behind me for inspiration because I've got two important and interesting things to talk with y'all about today. I'm going to go back inside because it's a little less noisy and not quite as bright inside, so give me a moment, I'll be right back and we'll talk about today's interesting topics in the world of D&D. Alright, so what was that silly little bit of inspiration all about? It's all about Ghosts of the Saltmarshes. I am really excited about the next compendium that the Wizards of the Coast has announced. It's coming out this summer, I guess? Yes, this summer, and it's all about nautical adventures. That is to say, adventures that involve the water in some way, being on the ocean, being under the ocean. I believe you could probably also do rivers and things like that, but anywhere that you would have a boat or a ship. And how cool is that? There are going to be rules for boats, ships, and so forth, and how to use them, how to incorporate them into your game or into your campaign. And there are even to the point of like stats and so forth for these boats and ships. I listened to a great interview with Kate Welsh talking with Todd Kendrick and on D&D Beyond, of course, and they were talking about this compendium that's coming out. So the way I understand it is there will be 5 old modules, that is to say old adventures, that they are incorporating into this compendium that you'll be able to then play. So it's something along the lines, from my understanding, it's something along the lines of the Dragon Heist module, where there are many different ways that a person could use this information and approach the adventures. You could pick and choose one of the 5, you could put them all together somehow and string them together. You can just use none of that and just use the information in there and create your own nautical adventure. So there's all kinds of random charts and information about like combat underwater and all of these types of things that are going to be incorporated into this. I'm super stoked. I believe you can see the cover art for it so far, and that's pretty much all I think that they've put out there for us at this moment. However, it's pretty exciting. It's in the news, as it were, if you will. So go check out maybe check it out for yourself, see the other information out there, and by all means, of course, keep your eyes peeled for that. That actually makes me think of something I want to talk about that I'm sort of in development on. I'm going to create sort of an affiliate, probably an Amazon affiliate thing, site, page, whatever it's called, for myself, so that at some point in the very near future, you all will be able to, maybe if you're interested, support me and by going to Amazon and buying these books and modules. I will let you know when that's actually active and live, but I just want to preview here and say I'm going to put that together because, hey man, I'm doing these for fun and for free, and there is no obligation or absolutely any need for that. However, hey, if you wanted to do it, it would be super cool. And not only that, I think it would be a great way where if I talk about something like this, Ghosts of the Saltmarshes, then, there's a quick link and you don't even have to bother with doing your own web search. You can just click the button and go right there. So I will keep you all posted on that and get that set up as soon as possible. But back to the more important stuff, D&D, and what I'm talking about now. I'm excited about this. I have not done any kind of pirate adventures. I've done very little in the way of underwater or on the water and all of that in the years I've been playing D&D. So I would love to give this a try. I'm actually pretty excited about it. And not only that, I may be incorporating it into some of the Kingdom of Magic storyline if that works out. I had an idea for doing that at one point, getting them to Waterdeep and then getting them to do some kind of high seas adventure. However, I don't know if that's going to happen. And for many different reasons. It would tie into one of the characters' backstories, and so I thought that was kind of cool, and yet I don't know that the characters are going to be interested in doing that, or if we'll ever even have time or get to it. But I don't know, but just knowing that the resource is going to be there is huge, so I'm very much looking forward to that. The other big news that's important, I think, this week that I was, exposed to, that I heard about or read about, was that they've revisited the Artificer class. So they've, in Unearthed Arcana, they're releasing a version that you can sort of play test. It's not official yet. However, it is out there. They've sort of come back to it, especially with the release of Ravnica and the Ravnica module, because the Artificers are sort of a big part of that world. Ravnica is sort of a steampunky crossover from different genres and games and such into Dungeons and Dragons to create this slightly more high-tech, slightly more high-tech adventure, if you want to, within the realms of Dungeons and Dragons. And if you don't know anything about the Artificer, number one, if you're a Critical Role fan, you know about Taryon Darrington. Taryon was an Artificer, is an Artificer. So what is an Artificer? An Artificer is someone who tinkers and makes things that are arcane in nature. So they're creating magic items, they're creating glyphs, wards, baubles, elixirs. There are many different ways that a person could approach an Artificer, depending on the flavor you want to bring to that character. So one simple example would be making like an alchemist that's an Artificer, and you find new and interesting ways to imbue magic into these concoctions that you make that then power your party, that empower yourself and your party. That's just one way to kind of think of it. And it's going to be based highly on tools. So there's the Tinker's tools, the Alchemist tools. Maybe you're going to use the calligraphy tools to scribe scrolls or to do intricate drawings of arcane symbology on a person's armor or on a weapon or something like that. Maybe on your boat for your salt marshes or your nautical adventures. So the Artificer is kind of a cool class. I don't know a whole lot about it. I had one in our party for a little while in Ajik, if you've listened to those, Torm. Super cool character. It felt, this is my opinion, it felt a little overpowered because you're basically able to sort of make magical items, and the weapon that they had was super powerful. And this was when they were first starting to kind of introduce guns and gunpowder and this sort of thing. Now, an Artificer's weapon was a magical projectile. However, it still was it seemed like they were doing wicked amounts of damage, which maybe that's supposed to be what they are. Maybe they're supposed to be that role of the DPS, damage dealer, damage per second, or whatever you want to call it, DPS. So or maybe it was just the way it was, and this is part of the reason they're revamping it. I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I will do that, and then I'll share some more of my thoughts and my perspective and impressions of this new approach to the Artificer. I might even, just for fun, make a character up and see what that looks like. So, the Artificer. So again, Ghost of the Saltmarsh and the Unearthed Arcana's new approach at an Artificer. I can't wait to check more about these out. I hope you will also do the same. And in other D&D role-playing game information or news or what have you, I guess on a personal note, I did a fun video this weekend. I just released it yesterday, which would have been Saturday from when I'm recording this. I did another What's Your Story? An interview with the fantastic Banjalerp, Banjaelerp, on Twitter and ArtStation and the interwebs. She's on Twitch and everything. You can go check her out. Her art is amazing. If you have a D&D character that you're interested in having artwork done for, she might be someone you want to commission. There are other amazing artists out there that I intend to try to interview as well. And again, just give exposure to the artist and to us, the public or whatever, the community, I guess. Who are these great D&D artists, and how do you get in touch with them, and what are they about? What's their story? What's their backstory? You know, it's the backstory of the artist in a sense. So it's lots of fun. It was a great time. She's a wonderful woman, and of course I did Matthew Art of Bartlett a few months ago, so that's up on my website as well. I'm creating a playlist for those, so you'll be able to check those out easily, and I'll keep them organized and all in one place. So I'm looking forward to interviewing more artists as the months go by. If you know someone who is a fantasy/D&D artist that you would like me to interview, or at least attempt to get an interview with them, let me know. Tell me in the comments, like, give me those suggestions. At who, give me, how do I contact them, or what's their name, or what have you. I will do the research and get them on here if I can, as quickly as possible. So, without further ado, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you at a table someday, and keep rolling 20s.